All right, what's going on today, chat? What is up? What is up? What is going on today? DJ, welcome. Misfits, welcome. You guys get to see Faye today. She's been on one. What is going on, chat? She's already trying to chew my pens. Hopefully all is well, chat. We are back from the show. Got a lot of episode 59 of Grade Review today. Got a lot of I got my PSA magazine. Some Nami action for all you One Piece fans. This came in today. We also got the PSA 10 Faye Cat. She's excited. Got a little guest today. So what's going on, chat? How's your Wednesday so far? Hopefully you guys are chilling. As for me, I've been dealing with a lot of weird little issues today. But it is stream day, so we're just gonna get right after it. So today's agenda is we're gonna talk about kind of the quick overview of Sunday's show, how much the table cost me, how much I grossed, kind of the big things that I noticed from the show. We're gonna talk about a new service that PSA is offering. Actually, it's not officially on their website, but was actually in this magazine, which we'll be talking about today. The final topic of today is going to be a new ad that I keep seeing pop up, and I want to kind of talk to you guys as a whole, which is the service called Boxed. So I ran into that for the first time today, so I want to go over that. And then finally, grade review. So, and this is the first, it's actually a pretty big grade review. It's the first ever that is just subscribers only. So, a really huge milestone personally. So thank you guys for subscribing, whoever has done that. So we have a lot to talk about. Betty, what's going on? The rare view, and we have Miss Faye Cat chilling as well. Currently she is cleaning, so I don't know if you can see her. But so how you guys doing, man? We got a lot to talk about today. A lot of fun stuff. Oh, Miss Faye, do we have a lot to talk about today? I think she agrees. So we're just gonna get right into it. So Sunday's show was a blast. So the Sunday show was from 9 to 3, and I'll kind of play I'm not going to play the audio, so I'll kind of just talk over it. So this was at the Polish Community Center in Albany, New York. So this was a one-day show. First time being here. It was a really good time. Had a lot of really cool trades, a lot of really cool people show up. A lot of people interested in a lot of the binders that I had. Anywhere from the $1 to $25 binder. So as I'm kind of going through some of the sales here, so it started at 9 o'clock, and I had 8 transactions at around 8, and I was just slammed. Sorry, 9. I was slammed from 9 to about 2. I had a lot of people coming in for trades, checking out a bunch of different stuff. So there was a lot. There was a lot to keep track of. One of the big things that I noticed, I only sold 1 slab. So 1 PSA slab I sold in addition to trade was the PSA 10 Charizard V from Brilliant Stars. Everything else, there was a few big singles. I traded a lot towards a Greninja EX, or they traded towards a Greninja EX. And a lot of other kind of mid-range, like I think the other one was Umbreon Darkrai, someone bought outright. But all in all, a lot of the big cards, not seeing a lot of traction. I think right now a lot of people are kind of hesitant on looking at buying IRs and SIRs right now because of how much the market is fluctuating all over the place, which is understandable. So yeah, I don't really know. So it'll be interesting. I have 2 shows coming up in May. So I'm gonna kind of continue monitoring the market and kind of seeing what that's about. So the table, Mike, what's going on? So cost of entry at this show was $90. So right off the bat, I was at -90. But at the end of the show, because I use Square, so I was at net. I made just over 2,100 in net sales. So pretty good turnout, especially for a 6-hour show. Again, I was pretty much busy the entire time. A lot of good sales. I probably traded in roughly, I think when I inventoried on Tuesday, I roughly traded in 25 cards. So that was good. A lot of the $1, $2, $3 binders went absolutely insane. So there was that. So my top sales of that day were primarily cash for anything like the raw cards above 5. And then it's funny because I made more sales in my $3 binder than I did in my PSA graded cards, which I found very interesting because I only sold 1 graded card. But I made more sales in overall and from my cards, my $3 binder than that. So yeah, so this show in particular, not as good for slabs. So I think when I go to my next shows, I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to bring less slabs with me, and just bring probably like my top 10 or top 15, and then fill the rest of the case with singles. Cause I had a lot of stuff that I couldn't put out because I just simply didn't have enough room. So if I pause the video here, so this was about an 8-foot table. And so right here, you can kind of see my big binder that I have a bunch of my stuff top loaded in addition to my $1, $2, $3 binders right here. And then to the left of me was my big case. It's about 4 feet tall, or 4 feet long rather. So it took up about half the table, and I had a lot of stuff that I just simply couldn't put out there to show. So I think lessons learned, I'm going to bring a lot less. Like I'll bring all the slabs, but it's going to be more of, I'm going to be showing off more raw than showing off graded. Because the shows that I keep going to, a lot of the PSA stuff just simply isn't moving as much as I'd like it to. So we're going to do a little bit of a pivot come May, but that's where I think the online store is really going to kind of pick up the slack. I'm hoping is going to be more of the PSA graded card sales, which is going to be interesting. So we'll see how the show goes in May, and I'm going to be continuing to list cards throughout the weekend, which includes all the graded stuff. So I'll probably be doing a claim sale on Monday. So definitely look forward to that. The online store is actually open right now. I was able to fix a lot of and update my inventory on there. So you can check that out as well. No, there's only one PSA card that sold at the show, and it was my Charizard V PSA 10 from Brilliant Stars. A lot of people traded towards it. Well, not a lot of people. Someone traded a lot towards it. Because that one was like it was a Mewtwo V Star, a Garchomp V, and some cash on top for that one. But no, a lot of the greatest stuff I'm going to continue to list online because it just simply doesn't do as well in shows that I've noticed. So yeah, all in all, it was a really good show for a 6-hour day. Definitely met a lot of really cool people. That was the other thing that I like about these shows. Met a lot of cool folks, both from trade-ins and buys. There is one guy that I'm going to be obviously showing when I make the actual footage, the whole video of this show. There was a guy that was there just collecting Umbreons and Darkrai's, and so it was cool that I was able to sell him a lot, seeing that he was a genuine collector. It was really cool to help him out with some Umbreons, Darkrai's, and the Umbreon Darkrai. So that was a really cool set. This show was in Albany, New York, Jaden. So I'm just kind of talking about it really briefly, but I'm going to be editing this. I have a lot more footage that I have to edit, but I just figured I'd kind of play it in the background as I was talking about it. So next up, let's see. So this, I don't know if you guys have or subscribe to the PSA magazine, but I actually saw this, in my issue today. So I posted it in the Discord today, on like one of the first few pages. You're on the West Coast. Well, I'm gonna continue my claim sales too, so you'll be able to buy through me online. And during those claim sales, I tend to offer a discount code, so it makes it a little bit easier for folks who obviously don't live near me or whatever. I know Betty doesn't live near me, or Apple, or you, or Mike. So I kind of offer that too. But so I saw this on the front page of the PSA magazine that I got, and it looks like and it hasn't even, I tried looking it up on their website. It's not even posted publicly yet on their website, at least, but they are going to be making PSA grading kits, which I thought was really interesting. I know Tag does that. I know that they had a few people showing off their kind of ready to grade box. I think it's a really good idea, to be quite honest with you. I think a lot of people are intimidated by the grading process as a whole. And so the way to reduce that barrier of entry, I think seeing things like GameStop and their grading service start to become more popular, I think this was a really easy play to do. In addition, one of the things I found very interesting is that they're actually partnering with Ultra Pro. So Ultra Pro is partnering with PSA to make this official PSA grading submission kit, which I think will be really interesting. In addition, it does look like that in addition to being able to buy it on the online store through PSA, certain Best Buy locations are now kind of getting their feet into the ring in regards to grading cards. So it looks like Best Buy and GameStop are trying very hard to stay relevant by offering grading services, which I think is very interesting. The Best Buy thing doesn't really make too much sense, but I think it's kind of cool that they at least have the box that you can, it kind of bridges that gap that I think a lot of people have a major concern with the GameStop grading submission right now, is where this box will allow you to process them instead of GameStop. Yeah, I've heard a lot of locations for GameStop are going bankrupt, but I mean, it's like I've been kind of saying that since last year. It's like they are taking in cards and then they quickly pivoted to submitting. Like they're just really grasping at straws to stay relevant at this point, in my opinion. Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I'm thinking, Dom. Like I said, I just saw this in my PSA magazine that I got in the mail literally today, and I was combing through it. And I was like, wow, like this is pretty crazy that GameStop, or not GameStop, Best Buy is going to be offering this kind of package that you can just simply, my guess is you can probably just prepare it yourself, which eliminates that fear factor that people have had submitting through GameStop on how they're going to handle your cards. Like you now are handling your own cards, and all you have to do is just put it in a box and send it out. That might be a good selling point for a lot of folks who are worried about that initially. But who knows? We'll see what the price point looks like. It's very early. I don't even think that they're offering it on their website at all. I just quickly Googled PSA submission kit, and there really wasn't much that popped up. Did I mention any? No, this is literally what you're seeing was the little clip that was in the this issue of the PSA magazine. So this literally it. It's almost just like a quick teaser. To be honest, that's all we know. Well, at least that's all I know. So it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. I think it's kind of too soon to tell. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a long time coming, but we'll see how it pans out. So just wanted to share that with you guys as well. The other thing that I wanted to, I've heard though that submitting through GameStop has a faster return rate. I'm sure it does. I'm sure there's some degree of a partnership, but because I mean GameStop is partnered in sense with PSA, but I don't really know because I haven't really submitted, so I don't know how true or false that is. But let her speak. She's about to paw. I could tell she was winding up to paw my head. Is that right, Faye? I finally have it's warm enough for me to have the window open, so she's been nonstop in my room just lurking. Oh, Miss Faye, do you have something to say? What do you think? Do you think Best Buy is going under? Do you think GameStop's going under? Or do you think that they're making the right decision? I don't know. She's stunned. She is equally as stunned that Best Buy is now stepping into the grading game. But speaking of games, I guess, I wanted to talk about a very weird ad that I saw for the first time today. And I wanted to kind of go over it with you guys for the first time and kind of get your guys' thoughts. So the ad that I keep seeing on my feed time and time again is this boxed.gg. First, before I continue, have you guys seen this at all? This box.gg. It was my first time seeing it on my feed not too long ago. And I'm just curious first before I kind of dive in if you guys have seen this. So from what I could see, as I don't even have to say anything, and the homepage is very, you know, it looks like one of those crypto online unboxing sites, but instead of you know, watches or jewelry or whatever, it's Pokemon cards. So I wanted to first view it. I'm not opening it. I'm not condoning any of this. I don't have a code. I'm not affiliated, but I really think like my first thoughts is I do not think that this is good overall as a hobby. But I wanted to kind of look at it from a biased opinion first. Like I've even combed through the site right off the bat. This is just straight like and I'm already getting notifications from it. I haven't even been here, what, 10 seconds or like 30 seconds, and I'm already getting notifications, which is crazy. So let's just click how it works. So basically, from what it looks like, is the ultimate collectible experience. Take collecting into your own hands. So basically what it looks like is that you pay for, so you find a box, choose one of the theme boxes that contain the cards you want, open the box to reveal what's inside. Okay, they're talking about whatever they talk, and then there's the post, of course, seeing like all the hits and whatever. This is what I want to see. Frequently asked questions. What are gems? Gems are our site credit, just like V-Bucks in Fortnite. Boy howdy, if you really want to try to cater to kids right off the rip on a site that literally looks like a slot machine, talk about V-Bucks in Fortnite. That's how you do it. You can buy them with credit card, crypto, and other forms of payment. You can also earn them by referring friends and family. That's good. Referral code. Are participating in the gem drop every half hour. So gems are basically the currency or the chips that you buy into this like online this casino space. How do I claim? So I guess the idea is that you go for boxes that you have like a chase card that you want in it. How do I claim or get the card I virtually opened? To withdraw your card, head to your box. So you in sort, this is asking you, how do I cash out? So withdraw. After making the selection, a window will pop up giving you all the necessary details. Let's see. How much? Let's see. What can I do with the cards I don't like? Boxed is all about getting the cards you really want. If you don't like cards, you can unbox. You can immediately sell them back at a market value in gems, which you can use to open more boxes. So basically what that means is that they have not only do they have a bunch of stuff that you probably don't want, they never have to ship it out, and they just kind of say, hey, you want more spins, sell us back the card, and then ultimately try to get you to not get anything. How does marketplace work? You can trade existing cards in your inventory for anything listed in market price. Yeah, so basically this is just, and the funny thing was, the one other thing that I did see was that you have to be 18 years or older to participate, but it mentions Fortnite to compare gems. So let's talk about this site, chat. So yeah, my first impression, right? Yeah, you don't like him either, Faye, do you? What do you think? What do you think, Faye? Yeah, she doesn't like him either. So the percentage, let's see. Yeah, listed in the marketplace. So let's see, what's the marketplace? You can win an authentic. Awesome illustrators. Wow. Look at that, chat. All these gems flying around. Do PSA. Yeah, it screams rigged to me and it screams gambling. But let's talk about it. So, what are some of the, I guess, the pros, right, of this site? So I guess like what it's trying to do is that it's trying to give the illusion that we're eliminating bulk, right? So if you're trying to find product and you can't find product and you buy packs and all the cards you don't like, they consider that obviously bulk. So they're trying to argue that, hey, we're gonna buy these cards or you're gonna sell these cards and none of it's gonna be bulk, it's gonna be stuff that you want. So I can kind of see that. Additionally, if you're trying to find packs, I guess, out in the wild and you can't find them because product out in the wild is crazy scarce, it's very hard to find stuff. So they're trying, I guess, to make it easier to access higher end stuff, which kind of leads, I guess, into another point of filling some degree of a supply void. Like if we can't get cards in the stores, it's simply too difficult to find them. So this is trying to offer that as a solution, as a potential solution. And I guess for content creation, I guess it makes it a little bit more enjoyable to like see pulling. I know, Faye, it's tough, man. I know it's tough. So like this, I have Faye. Faye is my content creation. She's just chilling. I don't have to pull any cards or go through a slot machine. But you can just be entertained and see this thing spin over and over again. So there's like kind of, I guess, the perceived pros, I guess. But here are my cons. And I'm more on the con side than the pro. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I don't know if you guys picked that up already. I don't even need to open my mouth to say that just this welcome page alone looks like a gambling website. It's very slot heavy. It looks very slot-esque. And using collectibles as another way of just kind of going down to just simply gambling, I'm not a fan of. It completely removes the element of what makes a collectible. And as time progresses at this current state, I just think it's not a healthy way to approach the hobby, in my honest opinion. I think that it removes the essence of what makes it collectible. And I just don't like it. And I think the other thing too is probably the lack of transparency, like what a few of you have already said in chat. They can say all this stuff, they can say all the odds and whatnot, but at the end of the day, this is all still very unregulated, right? People are now, like, as a mass, are still trying to say, hey, this stuff actually does hold some degree of a monetary value, right? So let's funnel money through that before it becomes regulated. And I think this is just another attempt at that. You saw that with crypto, you saw that with NFTs, you saw that with CSGO cases, you saw those with CSGO items, and you still do to a degree, but this is just another hot thing that you can slap a lottery system on or a gambling system on in an unregulated space, which is gambling on collectibles. And I just don't like that. I just think it leaves a really gross feeling in my mouth on just tarnishing what truly makes a collectible as a collectible. And you're just basically, people that are gravitated towards this are just seeing the monetary value that is present, because you can just simply sell back the card back to the store to get funds back. So like you're not really looking for the card. I mean, some people may, but I guess a majority of them simply would not be like, I want whatever the highest rarity card is and just sell it back for money at the end of the day. And again, I talked about the regulatory risks. It's so unregulated, it's insane. And I think as this same idea starts to continue, I think overall, I think the community is not going to like this style of pulling singles. I think it's just gross, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, that's what I think, Patrick. I just think it's gross. I really do. Like, I understand that times are tough and, you know, people are finding it harder to purchase singles, but gambling to get it, it's just like, I mean, obviously people view gambling in different ways, right, for entertainment purposes or whatever, but there are people who are genuinely like get kind of overwhelmed with fear of missing out or hype to where it's like, okay, I need to have access to these cards. What are the chances of me getting it? And oh, ooh, I can open this and try to get the Giratina or whatever, where I can't get it in the wild because I don't have enough, you know, like $5 at the chance versus saving it for your money to get it. I don't know. It just seems weird. What if you hit the card you are chasing and then they send you the most top heavy? That's what I'm saying, Patrick. Like they say, I was looking at, so if I go down to here, so are the cards in real or in good condition? All products are checked for proper condition before being shipped to customers. In addition, all cards are individually double sleeved in a top loader and backed by our near mint guarantee, abiding by TCG player standards. AKA, they're not going to give you grade, like, even if people are trying to buy this for grading plays, which would be the dumbest idea you could possibly do, they're going to give you cards that are nowhere near being able to be like 10 contenders or even 9 contenders. You know, they obviously know what they're doing. And they're just going to give you something that's still within near mint that can't be graded because they're just going to grade it themselves. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they grade cards to then have more chases in these pull boxes or whatever? Unless I see someone roll once and get the Moon Kitty and they're actually give it to the person. Yeah. And again, if more people like social media influencers and all that stuff are promoting this stuff, it's no different than any online casino I've ever seen. They'll get ads or get higher rates to make it appear as though their luck is in their favor or in your favor. And then you go in there and then, oh, wow, like my odds are not nearly as good as that streamer that was promoting it with their promo code. Well, yeah, because they're getting paid to promote the product. So they obviously want to show that their luck is good and they want to encourage you. It's like, well, if they're able to get it, if Shroud was able to pull a Charizard EX, why can't I? So I know Faye's been chilling. But yeah, I think overall, I think this is gross, to be quite honest with you. I don't think it's a good look, and I don't think it's sustainable. I think people are gonna be kind of fed up with this whole like just 24/7 monetization of Pokemon as a whole, and I think it's just gross. But yeah, but enough about that. That's my opinion on it. I just thought it'd be interesting to talk about. Let's get into some grade review, shall we, chat? And if you guys don't mind, hooking me up with some likes, get us over that 1K hump, help me out with the algorithm. I greatly would appreciate it. We're currently at 571. So I definitely appreciate it very much. Watching for Faye. There she is. Yeah, she's been crawling on my shoulder at least like 5 times. She just keeps staring at my head and then trying to climb up on my shoulder. My price would be 30 PSA 10 Charizards, 4 Shadowless. I promote. There you go. All right, let me get this prepared here. I gotta get this stupid box off my screen. It's like making me mad, to be honest, seeing like that lottery system just like shoot across my screen. It's just so gross. I just can't get over how gross that is. Ugh. I hate it. I don't like it, chat. As you can tell, I don't like it. All right, so that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. RJ, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. All right, where's my pen? All right, guys. So let's get right into it. So welcome one and all. I think it's only going to take a few negative reviews. Oh yeah, for sure, Patrick. It's no different than any other gambling site that I've ever seen, from Counter-Strike, that whole big controversy way back in the day. There's no difference. All right, guys. Grade review, episode 59. Most of you have been here, but let's do the short version. We are grading Pokemon cards that the community members have submitted through our Discord. And our objective, our goal, is to try to help them assess their card's potential PSA grade. So we have a lot to talk about tonight. I have a stack of cards that I am super excited to see, as always. And if you guys like what you're seeing, if you want to help me out, make sure to like and share and follow if you have not done so already. It really does help me out, push the content out and appease the algorithm lords. So let us go into it. So first up, we are reviewing none other. Where are my notes? No, I do not want to close that out. First, we are looking at Jaden. Jaden, we are going to be taking a look at your cards. So first up, we have the Blaine's Moltres, which I really love the background here. I always thought that this was a castle growing up as a kid, but it is not. So let us take a look. So the big things that we're looking at today as a recap, we're going to be looking at centering, corners, edges, and surface. So all four of those factors ultimately weigh in on the overall grade of the card. And Faye is biting my pen. I got one of these PSA 10. Look at you, doctor. It's a beautiful card. So let's look at it. So the centering. We can clearly tell from the top to the bottom, this card is pretty off center. So that will have an impact on your overall grade there. So we're already out of, just from centering alone, and I cannot stress this enough, just from centering alone, we're already out of the PSA 10 contention. So let's continue looking. So corners. Top right, have a little bit of whitening there on that right side. Top left looks good so far. Left edge looks good. Bottom left edge looks good. Bottom good. Bottom right corner looks good, but again, pretty off center. And from the first quick glance that we can see on the holo specifically, there is no print lines that I can see or scratches. So far so good. It's really just a little bit of whitening on that top right corner as well as the centering. And on the back is kind of the nail in the coffin here. We do have some things to talk about. So again, a little bit off center, again, from the top to bottom as we flip it over. Top right corner has a little bit of whitening. Top has some significant whitening and some dings on that top part as well. Top left looks good so far. A little bit of whitening on that left edge. And as we make our way towards the bottom, have a little bit of whitening on that bottom left corner. A little bit on that right side, but not too bad. It's really just this right here that's really going to be causing us some issues. So let us see. And first, before I continue, I'm just going to double check to see. So if you guys want to unlock chat grade, I normally wait until we have at least 15 concurrent viewers, both over on YouTube and TikTok. So we're almost there. So if you guys want to unlock chat grade, make sure to like and share the live to get more people in here so that we can have chat weigh in on what we think these cards are as well. So let's take a look. So I would say the front of this Fire Chicken, the centering is really the big issue and a little bit of the whitening on the top right. So I'd say just from the front alone, we're already at an 8. However, when we flip it over, this is where things start to take a turn. So normally with a little bit of whitening on the top right, a little bit top left, and as we go to the bottom left corner and the bottom right. So it's really kind of mild whitening. So I would say if we would get rid of this here, this would probably be in that 8 to 7 range for sure. However, if we introduce this, that is pretty significant. Those are some pretty significant dings out of that top part. But aside from that, the card's structural integrity seems to be intact. And what I mean by that is I don't see any bends or curls or curves or any major chunks taken out of the foil or anything like that. So I would probably say with this, you're probably looking at anywhere from a 6 to a 5, in my opinion. I would probably lean more towards a 6 just because of how clean from this picture specifically, how clean the front actually looks from the holo perspective. But if there are any other issues with the holo or any other bends or creases or folds that we simply can't see from this specific 2D picture, I would immediately bring it down to a 5. But I would say that you're probably looking at a 6 for this guy, because the edges and the corners are actually not too bad. It's just really just that top edge that's really kind of the main focus of that. If I folded it in half, could I get a 1? I mean, I have no idea. I don't know if you fold your fire chicken in half, if you would get a 1 or not, to be quite honest with you. I don't have enough experience in grading 1s. All right, so next up we have the Mewtwo Level X promo. So let's take a look. Centering on this actually looks pretty decent compared to the last one. Is that altering? That's actually a good question. I don't know if it'd be considered altering or not. I really don't know. Top left corner looking good. Top right, I think looks good. Maybe a little bit of a fold up there, but it's kind of too hard to tell, a little bit blurry. This aura is part of the artwork. As we go down the left side, bottom left corner looks good. Bottom right corner, I believe, looks okay. Possibly has some issues on that right side, kind of due to that kind of darkening on that right edge. Text looks, I think this might be a bunch of dirt, especially here. And I'll kind of highlight this with my pen tool really quickly. So right here, and all of this in this section, this little bits of dirt. So again, if you guys are new here, this is something that I think would be pretty easy to clean up to improve that surface grade. So just taking some distilled water and a Q-tip to kind of clean off some of those dirt marks and that debris to improve that surface score as much as we possibly can. Because if we leave that on there, it will have a pretty significant impact. So cleaning that would be pretty easy from what I can tell. And probably some other dirt marks too, probably in that lightning area. And since there's a lot going on with this card specifically, it's really tough for me to tell if there are any major scratches on the holo. Maybe a little bit on the tail, but I honestly don't know. It's honestly my first time seeing this card specifically, so I don't know if that's part of the art, but my guess is no. So that would be taken away, as well as the ear stalk, I guess, on the Mewtwo. Has a little bit of wear right there. What about fingerprints? The same thing, Rome. I'd say the same thing with that microfiber cloth, even, and a little bit of moisture from distilled water would easily take off some fingerprints for sure. So as we look in the back, it is very well loved. Right, I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I guess the centering is looking pretty good. A little bit off center from the right to the left, but I think you're within that range from the back specifically. Top left, I mean, all corners and all edges, I'm not even gonna worry about singling them out specifically. The left edge, yeah, all of them are really well worn. Additionally, we have some pretty noticeable like dirt splatter or whatnot. Again, I think this is something that you could easily clean with what I was talking about before, but we do have to kind of consider it in our overall review, because sometimes that stuff is so caked on there you can't even remove it. So it's pretty tough to tell. But the one thing I am not seeing, which is, I guess, good. Yes, it can for sure, because what the fingerprints would be considered in the overall surface subgrade. So if they see a fingerprint, they definitely will dock you for sure. Yeah, this is in pretty rough shape for sure. So let's look at the front. So right now we have 13 concurrent viewers so far. So again, once we get to 15 or more, I'll unlock chat grades. So if you guys want to help me out by liking the live, I would appreciate it. Or both on YouTube and TikTok, wherever you're watching me from today. Hey, I submitted cards to you, looked at, and got them back. Oh, you got them back from PSA? If so, I'd love to see them in the collection chat, or the collection channel in the Discord, Enrique. Oh, Beckett, even, yeah, that'd be awesome, man. Okay, so let's see. So the front, again, it was really just that issue on the top right corner that I saw, in addition to some of these kind of abrasions on the card and this dirt mark. So right off the bat with the dirt and some of these abrasions, I'm already kind of leaning, if we're just to look at the front, would be a 5 right off the bat. That splattering, I definitely would never sell this as light play. I would probably do at most mod play. So as we flip it over, it just gets progressively worse. As we flip it over, all 4 corners, all 4 edges have some significant whitening, and I kind of even call this famously, I guess in chat, fuzzy whitening, where it is so worn that it starts to get fuzzy to the touch, and that's not good. So we're already starting to approach that 4, even 3 range, in addition to all of this dirt splatter and everything like that. So I would say with this card, with everything going on with it, I would probably, and we got some stains by the P as well that I didn't see before. I think that this would be a pretty safe 4 to 3 range, but I would probably say leaning more towards 3 than a 4, just because there's just so much wrong with the back. It is pretty beat up for sure, and I would say if any other bends or creases would just solidify that even more, or even reduce it down to a 2. But I think in overall, I'm thinking probably a 3 would be my opinion for that bad boy. How do I show you my Charizard card? Zen, just give me 1 second and I will be glad to go over how to submit your cards for a grade review. So it looks like if we maintain, so we got 20 concurrent viewers. So this Palkia, guys, we're gonna unlock the chat grade review. So let's pay attention here to this Palkia G. So let's take a look. So Palkia G. A little off center on the right to the left, and it might actually be a good idea just to kind of highlight what I keep talking about for centering. So right now the updated centering on the front is 55-45. That's the updated PSA centering for the front. So as an example, how do we determine the centering for this stuff? So I'm going to just as a marker here, we're going to go from here to here on that right side. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hash marks on the right side, and on the left we're gonna go just about there. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the left. So how we do it is that we had 5 on the right side and then 4, so we just do 9. We add those up together, so we do 5 divided by 9, so we're assessing the right side ratio. It is around 55 to 56 if you round up. So if you round up, it's 56-44. So technically, if you round it up, it would just be 1 point outside of that 55-45 ratio if they actually take a ruler to it, or if they round down. So it's right on that edge of being outside of 55-45 ratio from the right side to the left. Ken and Bush, thank you for the follows, appreciate that. So that's how you measure the centering. So depending on if they round up, I mean, granted, I'm using a monitor to measure. So if we round up, it would be off center, it wouldn't get that 10. And if we were rounding down, it would be within that range of a 10 centering. So that's how you do that. So let's look at the corners now. So top left corner looks good. As we go across this edge, we do see a bend here right between the L and the K in Palkia. So we do have to remember that when we look at the rest of this card. So top left, looking okay. There's a little bit of a dent or a fold or something like that. So we might see that when we flip it over. And all these little black specks are, again, bits of dirt that can probably just simply be removed with a microfiber cloth or anything like that. Eris, I will explain that once I am done with this submission, my friend. Just hang tight real quick. Bottom left, actually that bottom left corner looks pretty good. Bottom edge looks okay. Bottom right corner also looking okay. But the Palkia's face, for example, does have, so where we're kind of seeing that bend or that fold kind of go down, it's starting to kind of cross over into the Palkia's face here. And it looks to be that it's probably going to be pretty significant if we're seeing some removal of this layer by the Palkia's face. So let's flip it over, and that's exactly what we're starting to see on the backside. So right where we saw on the front, which was right here, so kind of going across like in this section, when we flip it over, it mirrors on the other side as well. So right here and right here are the major creases that we're seeing right in this section. So anywhere that you see that green is where I'm seeing those bends that we saw a little bit on the front. So that is going to have a pretty significant impact on the grade. All things said there. So the top right corner looks okay. Top left, a little bit of whitening, really not that bad though. That left edge is actually pretty clean. If we're just looking at the edge, obviously we're seeing that bend there, but not as much whitening as we saw in the card previous. A little bit of whitening on the bottom, some whitening on the right side, but not nearly as much dirt spray as we saw on the previous card, which was the Mewtwo. We do see some still here below the P and on the P on the bottom, but stuff that can be cleaned up, but not nearly as bad as that Mewtwo. So, Eris, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. And so, like I said, we do have enough people in chat, both across TikTok and YouTube, for a chat grade review. So this is what we do, chat. So if you guys want to vote on what you think this Palkia G level X would get as a PSA grade, type in ! grade followed by the number. Doesn't matter if you put a space. So again, that's type ! grade followed by the number to vote on what you think this Palkia G would get as a PSA grade. So there is the front of the Palkia, and there is the back. Most of the damage that you can kind of see more clearly on stream is probably going to be the back, so I'll leave it on here if anyone needs to see the front. Again, that's ! grade followed by the number on what you think this is. And then once the poll is done, which is I'm going to leave it up for about a minute, the winning vote will be the chat grade. So if all of you vote 4, then it would be a 4, for example. So while you guys are voting, let me catch up with chat here. And thank you, Apple, for telling everyone how to submit their cards. And again, I'll go over a little bit more detail at the end. If you guys are liking what you're seeing and finding this useful and helpful, I definitely would appreciate any likes, shares, or follows. Really does help push this content out, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to do my best to educate the Pokemon community in a space that is currently being overrun by a lot of negativity at the moment. But I think that this channel and this community, I think, is a really good safe space just to try to educate and just have fun in the hobby. So any support is greatly appreciated. All right, so PokeCove, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that, girl. All right, so let me wrap up poll here. So YouTube and TikTok, you guys as the collective hive mind are actually pretty split. You guys are pretty split between a 4 and a 3 here. Let me just wait for this to update. And it looks like by one vote, chat is thinking a 3. So on the Palkia, you guys as a whole are thinking a 3. So chat, you guys are thinking a 3. So I'll kind of put that on there real quick. So now, to kind of give some more information, so we have the chat voted, you guys assessed it as a 3. So now it's my turn to give my official grade. So what do I think this Palkia G level X would get as a PSA grade? So the centering on the right to the left, I think, is within that new 55-45. The corners, the top right is okay. Top left is kind of okay, but not really, on a little bit of a bend there on the left side. Bottom left and bottom right look okay. The big thing that I'm noticing, again, is really this big fold, or this big bend going up and kind of through the Palkia's face, which we'll probably see on the back, and we do. So you see at least 1, 2, 3 major bends going across the card. Having said that, the rest of the card, weirdly enough, is in okay shape, all things considered. So the corners are actually look pretty okay. A little bit of mild whitening, but nothing too crazy. A little bit of mild edge wear on the top, left, and bottom. A little bit more in the right side in this section that I'm highlighting on screen. But the back surface looks pretty okay. There are a few little dirt spots that, again, I think you can easily clean with some distilled water and a microfiber cloth and a Q-tip. So the surface is actually kind of being saved by the back here. But these big bends that I highlighted, 1, 2, 3, they are going to have a really, really big impact on the overall grade. So I think it's definitely worse than a 4. But I think the edges and the corners, actually both on the front and on the back, are actually kind of holding this card up to where I think a 3 would also be a pretty fair assessment for this card as well. So chat, you guys were thinking a 3. So chat was a 3, and then mine was also a 3. So we were all on the same page, chat. Not quite there for an anti-1, which is probably what you're looking for, but it's the structural integrity is still there. So let me, before I move on to this Zekrom, let me catch up with chat real quick. All right, guys. So if you guys are wondering how to submit your cards for a future grade review, all you have to do is go into my link in my bio or my link in description if you're watching me on YouTube or TikTok. Next, you'll see a Linktree link, and you'll go to my Linktree. Once here, you just click or tap the Discord icon. If you are on mobile, you'll have to make sure that you have the Discord app installed. Otherwise, you'll get an error or some weirdness going on. Once you're at the Discord, just make sure to follow the rules and read everything, which includes how to properly submit your pictures in the grade review channel. Because if you do not follow the rules, unfortunately, most of those cards will not be able to be reviewed. For example, if you take a picture in a top loader or a sleeve and I see a scratch, I don't know if the scratch is on the sleeve or the top loader. It just makes it a lot more difficult to assess from the viewer's experience and my own. So just make sure to follow those rules and you should be okay. The one thing that I will say is that the free grade review is a first come, first serve. And currently tonight, we're actually doing all subscribers, which is the first grade review where it's all subscribers. So subscribers do have a priority grade review over non-subscribers. So if you guys are interested in having priority grade review in the future, the Discord server does offer a subscription starting at $4.99 a month, which gives you priority grade review in addition to some other good stuff. We just finished up a monthly giveaway, which Mike has won. Mike, if you want to talk about that a little bit more in chat, to kind of, I guess, prove me wrong or right. That was definitely a pretty big prize that we went over. So yeah, so that's pretty much how you do it. Devin, thank you for the follow. Gripo, how's it going, man? Long time no see. Ones you looked at, for me, got a 9.5, so close to a 10. Oh, nice. That's really good, Enrique. That's still really good. And we just hit 6K likes. Thank you guys so much. Let's see if we can get to 10 if you guys don't mind. Give us something to do. So again, I really appreciate all the love and support. It really does mean a lot, because at the end of the day, I really like doing this for you guys. So I really do appreciate all the love and support. It really does mean more than you guys know. So thank you so much. All right. So next up is the Zekrom. So let's take a look. Centering on the Zekrom is pretty good. However, we are seeing that some of the edges are having some issues here as we kind of go across, possibly some here on the top center. We'll have to look more on the back once we get to it. Some stuff on the black background of the Zekrom, a little bit of a white fuzz there, but this left edge looks to be that there are some issues with it. Again, we'll probably see more of that as we approach the backside. Bottom left corner looks a little bit whitened, but I don't know if that's the angle, so we'll have to, again, I think most of it's going to be on the back. A little bit of a stain from what I can tell on this right side, this bottom right side. But all in all, we will know more when we flip it over. And yeah, that's probably what I was seeing on the front. So we can kind of see this stuff translate to the back, some of those concerns that I was having. So for example, this top, what appears to be a little bit of a ding or a bend, is kind of translating over to the back. So that's good that we always kind of look at both the front and the back. And so, yeah, all four corners, really it's just the top right one that has the most kind of fuzzy whitening, but the top left, and bottom right have some degree of whitening. Edges are a little bit worse than the corners, especially this top edge and the left side. In addition, we have even some abrasions on the surface on the right side and the left side. So we do have that. In addition, I don't know what this is. It almost looks like a pen mark, to be honest. And Jaden, I don't know if you're still here, but that does look like a pen mark to what it looks like. I'm not too sure. Might have to clarify that for us, but that obviously, if it is a pen mark or any mark for that matter, it will have a pretty significant impact on the surface. And so I'm just looking at chat. We do have 11 concurrent, so I'm just going to continue with my vote. So again, if you guys want to unlock chat vote, definitely help me by liking the live to get more people in here. I unlock chat vote when we have 15 concurrent viewers to have a good sample size. So let me assess this Zekrom real quick. So the centering is okay on the front. The front is actually not too bad. So this would be a fantastic binder card, to be quite honest with you. But you do see some of those issues on the corners and edges that we saw in the back translate to the front. So it's really the corners and edges, both on the front and the back, in addition to what appears to be a mark, like a marker or a pen, something like that. So we're definitely out of that mod play for sure. So we're kind of like 4 below, which I think I'm kind of getting the vibe that you're trying to look for anti-10s here. So I'd probably say, you know, that pen mark is I definitely think anything written on a card physically is at best. It was Black Fuzz. Okay, so just for context, chat, Jaden, who we're currently reviewing, so what I'm circling right now, what I thought was a pen mark was just simply dust or fuzzy or whatever. So that's not a pen mark, which is great for your sake. So as we look at this, the one thing I think is saving you from going under to damaged is that I don't see any bends or major creases. I think this is definitely within like that mod or heavy play. I'd probably say more of like a better heavy play or a worse mod play, just because of how much the edge wear is translating both to the front and the back. You can kind of see, again, as an example, this bottom left corner looks a little bit too fuzzy for my liking. There is a dent on the front. Okay, so then I would probably say if there is a dent on the front, depending on the size, which I simply can't see at the moment, you're probably looking at a 4 to a 3, depending on the size of the dent. The top above the name. Let's see, top above the name. Yeah, I can't really see it from this angle. So I'd probably say with a dent, in addition to all this, yeah, you're probably looking at a 4 to a 3. If it's pretty large, probably a 3. So I'd probably actually just be pretty solid on that 3, to be quite honest with you, because the dent and all the edge wear issues and the corner issues on the front and the back, you're probably looking at a 3, would be my guess. And woo, this is probably your best chance at a PSA 1, to be quite honest with you. So before we do that, I'm just going to run to the bathroom real quick. I will be right back. All right, I am back, chat. All right, so Jaden, yeah, the goal for the submission was 1s. Okay, so yeah, this one, I think, just at first glance, I think this is probably going to be your only best chance, to be quite honest with you. So let's take a look. Do my cast form Galarian art gallery. Did I review it? I'm pretty sure I have, because I feel like that was a while ago. Gripo. All right. So centering, I think we're in that range from the right to the left. I think we're good. Now, I don't even know where to begin. Corners are obviously blown out. The whole card has, you know, dents and dings and all sorts of craziness going on with it. On that front side, we have some surface getting removed from the Rayquaza. We definitely have a lot of problems going on. And on the back, we definitely have some problems. This is as fuzzy can get for these corners. The edges are equally as rough. There's bends and dings and all over this card. Is pretty significant. So yeah. So the question is, will this get the 1 or not? Let me see. I'm just checking the chat. So we're just shy under that 15 mark for the chat grade. So let me continue on here. So again, it really, for PSA 1s, the biggest thing that we have to consider first and foremost is, does the card still represent a card, right? Does it still have and hold the structural integrity of a card? And I think it does. So why that's important is because if it doesn't, then PSA will simply not grade it at all. Because it's just simply too damaged, or it no longer represents a trading card because it is so damaged. So the next question is it damaged enough to where it would be a potential 1 or not? Because 1s, you really have to be careful because it can go either way. It can either be a 2 or a 3 because there's something still good with it, or it could be so beat up that they won't grade it. And I think with the creases, the folds, and everything like that, but still having it look like a card, especially with these surface abrasions and the fuzzy corners and the edge wear and everything like that, I honestly think that if I were to take a guess on any PSA 1 contender, this is probably your best PSA 1 contender that you've submitted tonight. I think it checks a lot of the boxes that I normally look for. Again, I don't personally have any experience grading PSA 1s myself, but I have seen some videos on returns of PSA 1s, and they tend to look close to this. So if you're looking for that PSA 1, I would give it a shot. If this were my card and I was trying to hunt for that, this is definitely, I feel like, the one to attempt it with for sure. So there you go, man. There's your potential PSA 1 play. Yeah, I think it's still, I mean, it obviously is damaged, but I think it still represents and still looks like a trading card. You know what I mean? Like if there was like a chunk missing from one of the corners, like for example, if this like right here was just gone, then it wouldn't be graded. But I think it's still, you know, it still looks like a card front and back. So I think really that's where your kind of saving grace is, to be quite honest with you. So thank you again, Jaden, for not only your subscription, but for your submission. At least we were able to hopefully get you a PSA 1 contention. And so next up, we have a frequent flyer of the channel. We have Apple Juice. So let us take a look at some stuff that hopefully does not get PSA 1s. We had one person submit looking for PSA 1s, and I'm assuming Apple does not want any of these to become back as PSA 1s. So awesome. Well, again, Jaden, I really do appreciate it. Okay, next up, we have a good chunk of 151. So let us take a look. So as a recap, for those of you who may be new here, for Modern, we're really looking at two main things. We're looking at centering and corners. Those are the biggest issues that plague Modern from potential PSA 10 plays. So let's take a look. So the centering, first and foremost, let's look at that bottom real quick. So again, I'm using an online measurement tool. So it goes without saying, definitely do this in person, but you'll get a gist of what I'm trying to do. So let us measure that bottom. So So right here, I'm going to be going from there to about there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom. And we're going to just turn that just a tad, probably about right there. So I said 5 on the bottom. We have 1. Did I say 5 on the bottom? What did I say, chat? I can't remember. And of course, I just zoomed it in, so I have to do this again. So we have, and this was going to change because I zoomed in. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom. Yes, so 5 on the bottom. And then we have about 1, 2, 3 on the top. I feel like that's not right, but maybe. So for my measurement, it's 5 on the bottom and 3 on the top. We'll measure that in person. But if we're just to do the measurements from that, it would not get the 10 just from the off-centering on the bottom, if that is true. But the left and the right look okay. And then the back, it would not... I think this probably would not get the 10. Because we do have... Looks like we have 1 bit of whitening in that top left corner. We have a little bit of whitening on that top center, as well as some whitening on the top left as well. And we have some mild whitening on that left side, a little bit on the bottom right. So we're kind of like in like near mint range, to be quite honest with you. We're kind of like in like that 8 to 7, depending on how much whitening there is. But it'd probably be more of like an 8, depending on what that is though, on that right side. But I don't think it would get the 10. Probably an 8 to a 7, to be honest, with all the whitening, but probably more than 8 than anything. For that Charizard EX. Now the Venusaur. Let's hope for better results on the Venusaur EX. Let's see. Centering on the top, bottom, left, and right actually look really good. Nothing that I'm too concerned about. But then one thing that you actually showed in this picture, that's super interesting, chat. I think this is the first time I've ever seen what appears to be a misprint to a degree, because it looks like the back transferred how the energy symbol pressed into the card, which I think is super interesting. So like right here where that energy would be is almost pressed into the back of the card. Honestly, the first time I've ever seen that, to be quite honest with you. And I would think, and again, I could be wrong here, but I would think that might have an impact on your overall grade, because of that kind of removing that top layer and revealing some of that whitening underneath. And this is one heck of a lens issue right here. Like, it almost looks like there's ink on the MON and Pokemon on the bottom. So I don't think that this one would get the 10. In addition, we have some what appears to be a ding, maybe. I'm not looking at that white. You guys don't even see what I'm seeing. Right here. Like, I know that I'm not really concerned about that little white speck, but more whatever this is on that edge. But I don't think this would get the 10. I don't even know what this would give. I'd probably say like maybe like an 8 to a 7. But probably more of an 8. Because I don't think it would be considered mint. But since it's a printing defect, you're more like near mint plus. Would be my guess. Yeah, that's what it looks like, man. It definitely looks like it was printed on there. Like super heavy. They like leaned on it or something. Top, bottom, left, right centering on the Blastoise looks really good. Corners look good. The back, I know this is just simply lens flare or just like light source from the flash. And that whitening on the top right, I think, is going to hold you back as well. So we have whitening on the top right. We have whitening on this left side. And then we also have some whitening on the bottom left and the bottom right. So again, I don't think this would get... I think most of these would probably get 8 so far your Charizard, Venusaur, and the Blastoise would probably get an 8. Because I don't think it's too bad for it to get a 7. Like, it definitely would be, you know, still well within near mint for sure, but probably more 8s than anything. I was using an LED flashlight. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right, Mike. Mike trying to gobble up everyone's cards. Ancient Mew. Centering on the Ancient Mew looks good. Corners look good. These are always prone to surface scratches, though, chat. So we got to really be careful. And I can see some right here by the 40 and near the 2 psychic energy symbols. So there are some scratches on that front side. And then on the back, centering looks good. Corners look good. But the only thing that I don't know what it is probably this bottom edge. So it almost looks like it's folded. So you can kind of, the only reason why I'm saying that is you can kind of see, and let me, hopefully this doesn't cover the entire screen. So what I'm seeing is that it almost kind of looks like it kind of goes like this. So like kind of like, I'm kind of exaggerating it a little bit, but like kind of goes up a little bit and back down. So within this section here looks to be kind of lifted on that edge. So if that is the case, in addition to some other scratches that I'm seeing, like we have like one right here, one right here. Again, these are notorious for being scratched because it's just like the entire card is just simply hollow. Yeah, it's probably looking more like a 7 if that is a lift on the bottom. Or probably like a 7, if not more of like an 8 or a 9. But the scratches, I'm imagining that there's probably more. So it'd probably be safer to think more on like the 7 range than an 8 because of that. And then the Zapdos, let's hope for the Zapdos. Let's hopefully we can get a 10 here for you. The centering looks good, corners look good, the surface looks okay, and I think the centering looks good here, corners look good on that, left edge looks okay. I think what appears to be whitening, I think it's just your playmat, so I'm not too worried about that. I think this Zapdos legitimately is probably as close to a potential 10 contender as I can see based off of your other submissions, and I don't see anything wrong with the surface. The centering looks really good, so I think out of the 5, I think this is probably your best shot at a 10 is that Zapdos, unless there's something other with like the surface or something that we just simply can't see with these 2 pictures. This might be your best shot at the 10 for sure, is the Zapdos. So let me mark that. All right, next up, we have a newer subscriber, which is Porter. So let's get Porter's queued up. And while we do, if you guys don't mind, if you're liking the content, to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, or follow if you haven't already. It definitely means a lot to me to satisfy the algorithm lords. Again, I really enjoy doing this for you guys, trying to provide as much useful content as I possibly can, so any bit does help, as silly as it sounds. That's what YouTube and TikTok like, so I definitely appreciate it. All right, Porter. Another Charizard EX. Seems like everyone's got these things these days. So let's take a look. Kind of similar to what we saw with Apples, to be honest. A little bit off center on the bottom to the top, but the left and the right look pretty good. Centering on the back looks really good. Let's see. Zeke, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. I think that top left corner is okay. But let's see though. Surface looks okay. You can't see the bottom. There you go. Yeah, I think the bottom is slightly off center, but you know what? Let's do a little. We got time. Let's do a little capture here. Let's measure. So we are looking for within that 55-45 range. So let's look. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 on the bottom. 4.5 on the bottom. And on the top, we have about 1, 2, 3, like about 4. Just shy of 4. So I think that should be good. And I think this should be a potential contender as long as there isn't whitening up here, because I don't know if that's like the carpet or the jeans or whatever the background is. I'm not too sure what that is. But the centering looks good. I think this possibly a 10 contender, but I would just measure the bottom of the top in person. Just measure that in person. And then just double check to make sure that this is in whitening in the top left corner. But other than that, looks really good. Ooh, one of the new Chinese Pikachus, 151. And one thing that I will say, chat, so I talk about it often, but the centering so far, let me just do that first. So the centering looks good and the corners look good. However, one thing that I do notice, and this is why it's super important to make sure that your cards are clean beforehand, is this right here. So you can kind of see, I don't know if it's too blurry or too hard to see on stream, but right in this section is a thumbprint. Right, kind of coming out of the Pidgey's back here, and into the cheek of the Pikachu. So there is a bit of a thumbprint in this area that if left unattended, that will impact the surface score of your submission. So always make sure to get that treated with a microfiber cloth and a little bit of humidity from like a even just like your breath, to be quite honest with you. But and what I do is just use distilled water. Very, 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 very small amount for something like this. In addition to that microfiber cloth. But yeah, definitely don't leave that thumbprint there if you were to submit this. So if we flip it over, it's actually really well centered on the back. Well centered. No whitening on the corners. So yeah, honestly, I think you have a really good shot at a potential 10. But you need to take care of what appears to be a thumbprint. If it's not a thumbprint, then that still looks like there's something there, and that might even impact your surface. But it does look like a thumbprint to me, and you really want to make sure that you get that cleaned or wiped off before you submit it, because if you don't, you're going to have a decrease in your surface grade, because they're just going to see that thumbprint and dock you. So if I can see it, they can see it. All right, next up is the Eevee. So let's take a look. So the centering looks okay. Corners look good. However, where was it? Maybe a print line here by the ear, but I can't really tell. It kind of looks like one. But let's flip it over. A little bit of whitening on the top right. Right where my mouse is. So I have a little bit of whitening there. But aside from that, the centering looks okay and the other corners look okay. So I would say if that is a print line, which to be honest, it kind of does look like one across the ear, and a little bit of whitening on that top right, probably it would get the 9, to be quite honest with you. I don't think it would get the 10 because of those two. And depending on how bad that print line is, you might even be looking at an 8. But I'd probably say more of a 9. Because that, again, a little bit of that whitening, man, it will have an impact for sure. All right, Pikachu from 151. Let's take a look. Centering looks okay. Corners look good. Surface looks good. No, let's see, any thumbprints or anything like that we saw on the 151 Pikachu. The Nidorans in the background. First time seeing those. Nothing that I can tell. So the front looks okay. A little thick on that right side, but I think you should be good within that range. We do see something along this left edge here. So I think you can kind of see, I don't know if you guys can see that on stream or not. I actually might have to zoom in even a little bit more just because it's kind of darker. Is that we see this kind of like stripe faint stripe kind of going down that left border. And so I think with that, I think that's probably going to be what's preventing you from getting that 10, maybe even a 9, if that is present and if you can't get rid of it. Because again, you know, that I wouldn't consider this mint by any means. So you're probably looking more like near mint plus, which would be a PSA 8 because of that. So that'd be my guess on that, would be a PSA 8. And then on this bad boy, again, centering and corners look good. I don't see... Oh, actually, I do see print lines right here. So we got one, and I actually have to probably... So be one... Jeez, that was wicked off. Let's try that again. So the print lines that I see on this is 1, 2, 3. So it goes right across that front of this Tatsugiri. So that is going to definitely prevent it from getting the 10. Now, if we flip it over, it seems like that's really the only issue that I see, unfortunately, which is just those print lines. So depending on how bad they are across the rest of the card, you're looking between a 9 and an 8. Probably, it's kind of a toss-up because I have seen some that have gotten 9s and some that have gotten 8s. So I'll kind of have to like loosely say a 9 to an 8. Depend if it's any worse, like if it really goes across and it's really noticeable in person, I'd probably lean more towards an 8. But if it's just kind of in this section where I highlighted, you probably could get away with a 9. Would be my guess. But print lines suck, man. They really do. It's like nothing in your control, but it just plagues you. It prevents those 10s, man. All right, so now we have, so I think the last one is Doodle, or aka Mike. So let's get it done. So we got some, I think you left a message here. Figured I would see what you think of these if I get this weekend. Let's see if you don't get cooked for Modern. So let's take a look. So centering looks to be okay. Because again, we're really looking at, for these VMAXs, we're looking at these white areas here and here for centering. And it looks to be okay. The only thing I'm a little bit nervous about is this right here, this left edge, because it's a little bit of reflective, but I think that's okay. Let's flip it over. The back looks okay. The centering looks okay. Top right, top left corner looks good. The only thing that I don't know if it's just because of the picture or what, but maybe some issue on that left edge, but I think it might just be the issue of the picture. And additionally, I would check to see if there's any dents on this right side. Like, not really like dents, but like indentations, I guess. Clean on the sides. Okay. So if that's the case, I think this Umbreon would be a good shot at a 10 because it looks well centered. And then since there's really no border on the top, I always kind of look to the left and the bottom, kind of like a ratio deal. And it looks well centered from the left to the bottom. So that Umbreon VMAX, if you're saying that the sides are clean, I think that could be a potential 10 contender. Umbreon V, I actually just picked this up at the show this Sunday. A really good Umbreon for sure. Centering looks good. Corners look okay. Let's see. Surface looks good. I don't see anything wrong with that. We do have something here. We have a little bit of some whitening on this left edge here. You might have to let us know about that, Mike. And let me just zoom in a little bit more. So I'm seeing this right here. So right where my mouse is. And I don't know what is loading, but we're about to find out, I guess. There's a little bit of some whitening or some issues on that surface there. But if that's nothing, then great. If it is, then that's probably going to prevent you from getting the 10 on this one. Because that does look a little bit of a surface issue. It was clean from what I saw. It's already on its way to be okay. So if it's clean and it's just more of like me zooming in really closely and it's just like a camera issue, then you should be good. But I really like this card. It's such a nice kind of trainer gallery. Flareon, looking well centered. Again, the left and the right look really good. The back, a little bit of whitening on that top left, possibly. But that might be, again, that might be your matte on the back. If it is, then I think this is a really clean Flareon. I'm not seeing those like issues I was seeing on the edge prior. So this one I think is really good, in my opinion. This one might be a good 10 contender, this Flareon V Max for sure. Flareon V, a little bit thicker on the bottom than the top. Let me just do a quick back of the napkin measurement here. So let's just double check. So on the bottom, we have, so right about there to there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom. So 5 on the bottom, 5 on the bottom, and we have 5 on the bottom and 1, 2, 3.5 on the top. So from this on screen, so it'd be, so what, 8.5? So 5 divided by 8.5. So roughly 58-42 ratio from bottom to top, based off of me measuring this. So that might be a 10 prevention because of the centering from the bottom to the top. The left and right look okay. And we do have some whitening here on the left side. So we have that. I don't think would be your matte. It looks a little bit too obvious. In addition to possibly that bottom left corner. But I think because of the centering alone, if the measurements on screen match with what it is in person, you're probably looking at a 9. 9 to an 8. I don't think, probably a 9. Because I don't think that might be part of your matte. I'm not too sure. Is on the card. Okay, so I would say more of like a 9. So I don't think there's really anything else wrong with it other than the front centering and that bit of whitening on the back. And then the Snorlax VMAX. Centering looks okay on the front. We do have what appears to be a little bit of whitening on the top left corner, like towards that edge. Not too sure about that. But aside from that, the rest of the card looks really good. The top right corner looks good, top left, maybe a little bit of issue on that, but if that's on your mat, then I think that's I think this would be a good 10 contender, but if that is on the card, you're probably looking at a 9 possibly. Unless they sleep on it or pass it, but you're probably looking at a 10 at like best case scenario. Tied dot top left, but maybe a 9. It's really tough with those little white dots, but I think with this one, it might kind of go either way, to be honest. It might go either way. You might get lucky and get the 10, but if you get the 9, I think that's probably why you'd get the 9. So, well, all right, chat. That is the subscriber, seemed like the subscriber exclusive grade review. So again, I really appreciate the subbing and submitting your cards for a grade review. Always means a lot to support the channel and support me doing what I do. It really does mean a lot that you guys, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it really does mean a lot that you guys like kind of my thoughts on certain things. Like we talked about that boxed crap. We talked about the new PSA submission box that got announced in the PSA magazine today. We did a recap of the show. So it's really cool that you guys enjoy me talking about that stuff, and it makes it more enjoyable for me to continue to do it and to continue to be motivated for it. So I guess coming up, what to expect. I'm going to be continuing to edit some videos. I'm going to be making some more content for you guys for TikTok and YouTube. I got a lot of videos to edit. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing when I end stream tonight. Additionally, I'm going to be uploading some more products, more so the graded stuff on the online store. So if you want to take a look at that, I'll probably be doing that from probably tomorrow up until Monday. And then Monday, I'm going to be doing a claim sale to highlight and go over all the cards that I still have in my inventory, as well as the new cards that I've added to the inventory, in addition to some percentage off. So looking forward to that. So as always, guys, I really do appreciate all the likes, shares, and follows, all the new followers and new subscribers, whether you're watching me on YouTube or TikTok. I always appreciate it. And yeah, more to come. I will see you guys on Monday for some claim sale stuff and kind of just talking shop. And episode 60, grade review episode 60 is on Wednesday. Maybe I'll try to brainstorm some fun stuff that we can probably do that day. But anyway, love you guys very much. Appreciate all the support, and I will catch you in the next one.